But surprisingly, I felt sadness, and after a while, I felt something else. I didn't feel sad. It was sad along with some sort of a rush that I had control, and if you mess with me, I guess it's, if you mess with me, I'll hurt you.
By the time he'd reached his 20s, Kuklinski had become a petty crook and pool hustler. Then his life changed. In 1960, he met a pretty 19-year-old girl named Barbara Pedrin.
He was absolutely flowers at the door every day, and considerate and romantic, and all of the things that anybody could hope for, dream for. He bought me beautiful things. We went fun places. He was happiest when we were together. He was happiest when just he and I were together.
He and Barbara had 3 children. But with just an 8th grade education, he could only get low-paying jobs that didn't pay enough to support his growing family.
I didn't have the capability of getting a better paying job. Was I gonna push a yarn truck the rest of my life? Make a menial amount of money? I couldn't have afforded 1 child, let alone 3.
He went to work at a film lab, where he began to pirate pornographic films and sell them to outside sources connected to the Gambino crime family. This connection led to other criminal activities, and it wasn't long before he went from being a small-time hood to a big-time killer. He worked as a hitman and associated with a gang that worked out of the notorious Gemini Lounge in Brooklyn. Above the lounge was a mafia killing factory where victims were killed and dismembered. Hacked bodies were packaged in plastic bags and carted away. Kuklinski was the perfect enforcer. He was brutal, and he knew how to intimidate. If people owed money, they either paid up or paid with their lives.
Most people paid their bills. Some didn't. I remember one guy, he was owed a lot of money. Well, I guess a considerable amount of money. He hid behind, he thought he could hide behind a door. It was a nice door, expensive door. Anyway, most people don't realize that when you come to answer a door, if there's light in the background, the person on the outside can look through the peephole and see the guy coming to the door. So he came to the door, I asked who it was, and he looked through the peephole. And he never saw what hit him.
For Richard Kuklinski, murder had become a way of life, and the macabre became the commonplace.
Would you ever use a chainsaw? I mean,
To cut someone up? Yes. I've done that. To dismember them, yes. Not to kill them, no.
what was it like to cut somebody up with a you know, the guy was dead? How did it feel to cut some guy up with a chainsaw?
Well, I didn't have any feeling one way or the other. That just happened. That's the way it had to be.
Messy.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Did it make you sick?
No. I've had requests where the guy wanted the guy's tongue cut out. And he also wanted his tongue put in his rear end. So I believe there was a definite point he wanted to get across. I have an experience that I don't know if I should tell you or not. That it probably would offend a lot of people. I don't know, I don't think I should. I'll go into that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
No, go ahead, tell him.
There was a man, he was begging and pleading and praying, I guess. And he was pleased God and all over the place. So I told him he could have a half hour to pray to God. And if God could come down and change the circumstances, he'd have that time. But God never showed up. And he never changed the circumstances. And that was that. It wasn't too nice. That's one thing I shouldn't have done, that one. I shouldn't have done it that way.
By the 1970s, between his illegal activities and contract killings, he was becoming a wealthy man. He now lived in an expensive home in a middle-class neighborhood with his wife and 3 children.
Richard, what did you charge for a hit?
If I hit somebody, I wouldn't hit it for peanuts. I'd like to have some money. I say if I were to do somebody, I want at least 5 figures. And at least up in the better half, not the lower half of the 5 figures.
Kuklinski kept his criminal life secret from his family and neighbors. He told them he was a businessman. No one knew his business was murder.
We were perfect. My children were never in trouble. We were perfect. We were the all-American family. I mean, we had what seemed to be the perfect life. They were wonderful times. And time with his family was the only thing that he was really concerned. I mean, if he never had to leave the house, he would have loved it. He hated to have to travel. He hated to go away. He came back as soon as he can. He wanted to be home all the time. He wanted to be with us all the time.
I enjoyed that way of life. I felt I had achieved something. I very seldom left the house unless I had to, because I felt secure in the house. I felt very secure. I tried to provide the best for them as I knew how. Might not have been the right way to go, but it was, for me, the only way. I tried to never let anything touch the house. I brought nobody there. My family was not exposed to anybody. I wanted to show them the good side of life, not the bad side.
Richard had a very, very sad childhood. You got the impression, or I knew because he would like say something and then drop it and change the subject, that he was abused and that there was no love. He grew up absolutely without any love, without a doubt. I mean, the first Christmas with my family, he was in awe. He couldn't believe it. It was a tree and everyone was cooking special things and there was lots of, we were laughing and it was fun, and he kept saying, I can't believe that this is what happens.
It was a Jekyll and Hyde existence. The way it was and the way I wanted it to be were absolutely two different lives. I wanted one life. I had to have another life.
This other life would interrupt one Christmas Eve. While his family was celebrating the holidays, Kuklinski left his home to collect on a bad debt. Business was business, even on Christmas Eve.
The man owed me money. He was giving me a runaround. I told him I wasn't happy that he wasn't going to pay me. He had the attitude that nobody could hurt him. I think he was wrong. Anyway, he never saw Christmas.
What did you use?
A gun. Extremely loud inside of a car. Matter of fact, my ears were ringing for a long time.
What'd you do afterwards?
I walked away, got in my car, and went home.
What'd you do when you got home?
I put toys together for the kids for Christmas. I saw the broadcast while I was putting the toys together. It came down. Mob-related killing. That was the first time I knew I was mob-related.
How'd you feel?
I was annoyed I couldn't get the damn wagon together.
I never questioned him, and you just knew, don't do it, don't ask. If he got up at 2 o'clock in the morning or during dinner and put on his shoes and walked out the door, you said bye. You didn't say, where are you going or why are you going? And it was just understood that that's the way it was. He was very private. You only knew what he wanted you to know.
By the 1980s, after 25 years of working as a hitman for the mob, Richard Kuklinski became the head of his own crime ring. He developed new ways to profit from murder. The case of Paul Hoffman was typical of the way he operated. On the afternoon of April 29, 1982, Hoffman arrived at a warehouse leased by Kuklinski. Like numerous victims of the Iceman, he had been set up for a phony business deal.
Paul Hoffman was a pharmacist, and he was looking for a quick buck. He was out to purchase a drug called Tagament, which was at the time a wonder drug for ulcers. And he felt that if he could purchase a large quantity of this Tagament at a very low price, that he could indeed make a huge profit on that. And that was the alleged deal that he had with Richard Kuklinski.
When Paul Hoffman showed up to buy the Tagament, he was carrying $25,000 in cash.
He took the bag, door opened it, showed me a whole mess of money, a whole mess of cash. He said, look, I got the money right here. And he came back. He says, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How am I gonna get this merchandise? I put the gun under his chin, and I said, there is no merchandise. And I shot him. He didn't die. The gun jammed. He was gurgling. I had hit him. It was, blood was pouring out of his mouth.